Hello everyone, my name is Carlie Hamilton and I'm here with you today for another scrapbook layout process video. I'm showing you the papers there, including a really old Sassafras Lass paper that I'm hoping will get used up finally in this layout. The rest of them I think are from Maggie Holmes' flea market, or maybe her older Maggie Holmes layout. And what I'm doing now is just going through my papers and trying to find out which one I want to use for the mat for my photos. Now this layout is actually my entry to Ashley Laura's giveaway. So it's her 1,000+ subscribers giveaway. And basically what you had to do for this giveaway is to use your favorite technique. And I've decided, there's just too many techniques that are my favorite, but for this layout I've decided to use splattering of mist spray, which I am doing right now, and that is one of my favorite techniques to use at the moment on layouts. So I'm using my Tattered Angels in Watermelon, and also my Mr. Huey's, and that one is Seafoam. You'd think I'd know what these are called because I've only actually got 3 sprays. But anyway, what I've just done is I've dripped them on the page in a sort of a diagonal line, and then I've moved them out of the way for it to dry, because I don't actually have a heat gun or anything that I can use, so it just dries naturally by air. Now this video is a little bit longer than some of my videos have been lately, because this layout actually took 1 hour and 23 minutes to make, which is a long time. And one of the things that made this layout so long was my thought process involved. So I've kept quite a lot of my thought process in this video. I could have cut it out to make the video a bit of a better size, but I thought I'd keep it in just even just for my own sake, to remember my thought process for this. And so what you've been watching is me trying to work out how the hell I am going to get these 3 little tiny photos and my 1 big photo all on one page with a nice composition. And often I don't know what I'm doing, like I haven't made a firm decision with things, but I just start gluing things down because I have sort of faith that it'll all come together in the end. So I've ended up matting my big photo all by itself, and then I really liked the idea of having these 3 photos down the edge like that, and have them sort of higgledy-piggledy and not straight. So I've overlapped them a little bit on that little piece of mat there. So now I am going to play around again with everything, and I can't quite seem to find how exactly I want them to lay on the page still. So I decide just to chop off a bit of this paper and use that to run across the page, and hopefully I can use that like as a grounding to place them on the page so they look like they're connected to each other. So as you can see, I'm still moving this all around the page and moving it slightly up and down, moving the pictures slightly up and down, and it's still not sitting right. So I ink the edge of this strip in the hope that that will make it look right. And then I also chop off a bit of the edge, because I don't want it going right to the edge. I still want to have that yellow border as the border of the page. And I just cut by eye, which isn't accurate. So I just use my pencil to mark off where I want to cut. My trimmer isn't so good at doing little tiny cuts like that, like really thin cuts, so I always get a bit nervous when I'm cutting things like that. So I'm still not 100% satisfied with that strip across the page, so I think maybe I'll do some vertical lines. And when playing around with the piece of paper and putting those small photos on it, I think to myself for a second, damn it, I cut it too small. If only I just cut it that little bit wider. But then I actually really liked that look of having it half hanging off the strip. So I decided to keep it like that. And then I make a mat on my big photo. And finally this layout is starting to come together for me. I want it to have a little bit of a layered / messy look, so I really fold up the edges of that big photo there, of the photo mats, just so it looks like it has a bit of dimension there. And I am happy with the composition of this page now, so I start to stick the main elements down. And as you saw with my mat, for the big photo, I am terrible at lining up mats, so I'm always ripping off bits to get it stuck down again straight. And as you can see, I was folding up the edges again. And then stuck down. So now that I've got the basic composition of this page all stuck down, I can start playing with my embellishments. So what I do first is I bring out my little box that's full of all my little tiny die cuts and stickers and things like that, and I start pulling out things. And I've pulled out a lot of those cameras that I've cut out of a piece of paper, of one of the Maggie Holmes pieces of paper. And I've also just pulled out some other little strips and things like that, which I feel like the colours could go on this layout. This bigger box here is full of my larger die cuts and stickers and things like that. And again, I'm just pulling out things. I pulled out like a little tag and put it up the top, and I quite liked it, but it wasn't quite right, so instead I stuck a bit of scrap from that green and pink paper that I've matted the photos in. So I've stuck that up the top there. And I'm planning on doing another embellishment cluster up the top there. So this is another box full of boxes full of all my bigger sticker sheets and embellishments and things like that. So pulling out a whole heap of stuff that I think might be able to go on this layout. So once I've pulled all that stuff out, I can start playing around with my embellishments. Now I really liked that thing up the top there, but I felt like it needed to be a bit smaller, so I've cut it down into half, and I'm going to use that as a mat for my embellishment cluster up the top there. And placing cameras around the page. Cameras are awesome, I love cameras. And you know, they sort of go with every page because, well, every page with photos on it, because photos, camera, yeah. And yeah, so I'm cutting down these cameras. I'm removing the edges because I've just cut them out from a sheet of paper, and I haven't really taken too much care with cutting them out from that piece of paper, because I figure I can, you know, leave the border there, or I can chop it down a bit closer once I'm using them for my page. I also ink the edges of these cameras because it helps it tie it together with the page a bit more. So I'm going to also cut out these. This is also from another 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and they're just like strips of words and little sayings and stuff. And at the moment, if you have a look at pretty much all my pages at the moment, I'm really loving doing this like little cluster of like word stickers and word die cuts and stuff. And so that's my little word die cut embellishment cluster that I've got going on for this layout. So as you can see with this layout, I am a lot undecided with a lot of things, so I keep on moving all these pieces around the page, hoping that something will stick. That just sounded like a terrible pun, I'm sorry. uh, but eventually it does all come together, and I've got to say that this is one of my favorite layouts that I've created lately. I'm just in love with it, and I'm wondering if part of it is the photos. I think I've talked about this in the past, where I think if you've got a really good story, or the photos are amusing to you or something, then I think the layout just happens a lot better. You just feel better about the layout. I don't know if that's like my sentimentality or something clouding this layout, but I really just love the way that this layout has come together. And I'm going to say layout one more time, layout. I like to cut away my stickers from the sticker sheet just so that I can move them around the page and sort of see exactly how my page is going to look. And often I don't end up using the stickers on the page, so that's why at the start you see my my box full of all my little stickers and die cuts and stuff, and that box just feels like it's getting larger and larger because I keep on cutting off these stickers from sheets and not using them on the page. I cut off more than I use, so yeah, that box is chock-a-block. On the other hand, my larger die cuts box, the second box that I pulled out, it's actually getting pretty skimpy now. I'm actually gone through quite a lot. I'm really excited and happy about that. If you know me, I like to do the empty packet dance. So I think what I'm going to have to do is actually go through my scraps. I got all these document wallets full of scraps, and I might cut them down to like tag sizes so that I can put them in my box, and when I'm doing a layout, I can quickly, it makes it easier for me to flick through my box rather than to go through the document wallets. So that's something I'm thinking about doing one day when I'm bored and watching a TV show or something. I can easily just cut down some stuff. So now I am trying to use up these brads. They're from October Afternoon, and I've sort of fallen out of love with brads because you could have the same thing in a sticker, like those wood buttons there. They make it so much quicker to use on your page than having to poke a hole through your page. But I do love the look of brads. And another thing about brads is once you've sort of poked a hole through your page, you can't move them around. Whereas with stickers, as you know, I'm often like pulling them off the page and moving them and stuff like that. So that's one disadvantage of brads, but I still have some brads. I still need to use them, so on the page they go. It always is a little bit satisfying using up a product that you're not 100% in love with anymore and getting it to work. Now I stick down this little brad up here in this embellishment cluster, and it works at the time, but as you'll see, I'll end up adding a couple more things in, and I do wish that I could have moved this brad slightly. It just is slightly out of place once I start putting more things on the page. So this box here is full of my more dimensional embellishments, and I've pulled out that frame, and I'm in love with frames at the moment, so it's another good thing to put on the page. And for this one, I decided to chop it off a bit so that I have it sort of hiding under the camera. I'd already stuck that camera down, but so I had to sort of rip it off the page there. And it takes me ages to get it into that right place again. I think when I first placed it on the page, it was perfect, but it never quite got back to perfect. So oh well. Eventually I get there, and once you get there, then you pick it up and it falls off again. But anyway, I end up sticking it down the camera with some foam dots, just so that the camera itself is popped off the page. My foam dots are actually a big foam block, which I have to cut the dots off myself. I quite like that because if you're someone who took a bit more care, you could cut exact right size for your needs. because I never do. I always have little bits poking out that I have to later try and sort of cut away from the page. But oh well, I'm just rambling there. So there we go. I've got that camera now popped off the page on top of that frame. Now, this is getting towards the end now. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put my title on the page, and my title is going to be what is in that main photo. And what that main photo is, this is for my career album, of course, and this is another food page, of course. And the big photo that I have there is a photo from a menu, and it's got a bit of English in it. Well, just poor English. And I am a huge fan of English correct and incorrect. And so I had to take a photo of the menu. And basically it's for a soup, and it is called Broth to relieve the hangover, which is a very useful broth, I would think. We didn't actually order that particular soup. We ordered a whole heap of dumplings and stuff like that. But I just really wanted to remember the broth to relieve the hangover. I love taking photos of menus like that. So that's what the big photo is. And the little photos of us in the restaurant just playing around with the camera as per usual. The first photo is us holding a whole heap of notes. At that stage, we had like a lot of change. It was getting towards the end of our holiday, and we had a whole heap of notes, and it made us feel rich. I mean, even though they were probably like a whole heap of dollar notes and stuff like that. But yeah, we felt rich because we had so many notes. And the second two lot of photos are just of me and my friends with our dumplings and eating our food. So I'm planning underneath the camera in the side to use that as my journaling space, but I don't end up doing that right now. While I'm making this layout, I'll journal later. And my little, I guess, subtitle that I'm writing down the side here is just money and dumplings, because that just sort of sums up what's in the photos. And I'm using my Mind's Eye sticker sheet. I think it's from the Now and Then collection. If you get an opportunity to get these sticker sheets, definitely recommend it. You get 4 in a pack, and you get the alphabet, and you also get a whole heap of word stickers, and you get 4 sheets in the pack. So highly recommended. I love them. I have a bit of an obsession with tile alphas at the moment as well, so that doesn't help. And as I said earlier, also with the clustering of the words as a bit of a theme for my layouts lately. So that is another reason why I love those sticker sheets. They're awesome. Now, if you know me, you know that I love sticking enamel dots all over my page, but lately I've gone back to using the good old-fashioned bling bling on my page. I don't know, something about bling is calling to me at the moment. And I've been using my scalpel to put them on the page. I know that I am going to have a bad accident soon, because me and knives don't go well together, but so far, so good. Fingers crossed it will remain like that. Okay, so I'm done now. So here's a close-up of my page. I don't know what it is about this page, but I really love it, and I really think the splattering, which I'm using as my favorite technique, I really think the splattering on the background really adds some real nice dimension to this page. So yeah, I'm really in love with this page, and I hope you enjoyed it too. So as I said before, this is my entry for Ashley Laura's giveaway. Please go check out her channel. She does some amazing pages. They are awesome. So even if you're not going to participate in this challenge yourself, head over there and check her out. I'll put a link to her channel below. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time, everyone. Bye.